title, I was shocked. When during our vacation, I found on my cheating wife's phone her conversation with her affair partner. "I'm glad you've settled in the neighboring room. I've stopped taking birth control pills and told my hubby that I have my period. We'll have a whole 2 weeks to conceive a child." My revenge was instant and ruthless. Chapter 1. The text that shattered everything we were supposed to be celebrating. 10 days in Aruba. Our first real vacation in years. A chance to reconnect, reset, breathe. Janet had chosen the resort, booked everything herself. She said she wanted ocean views, candlelit dinners, and no distractions. She even joked on the flight, "Maybe this trip will finally give us the spark we need." What she didn't know was that I had already felt the spark, the gut-scorching, breath-stealing jolt of suspicion, and I'd packed something extra in my luggage. Clarity. The first warning. It started on day 3. She said she had a bad cramp and wanted to rest in the room alone. I offered to stay with her. She insisted I go scuba diving instead. I trusted her, until I came back and found the door cracked open and her phone buzzing on the nightstand. My name was not on the screen. The message. "I'm glad you've settled into the neighboring room. I've stopped taking birth control pills and told my hubby that I have my period. We'll have the whole 2 weeks to conceive a child." My fingers clenched. Blood rushed to my ears. But I didn't scream. I didn't throw the phone. I didn't wake her up and demand answers. Instead, I took a screenshot, then another, and another. Hundreds of messages, code names, hotel room plans, photos. She wasn't just having an affair. She was trying to trap me with a false child while breeding someone else's legacy in the next room. The calm before the vengeance. I walked out of the room, not out of shock, but because I needed a plan, not a messy confrontation, not an argument that could be twisted against me later. I wanted something calculated. I wanted her to feel it, slowly, deeply, permanently. And as the sun set over that beautiful island, I realized she thought she was writing her own twisted future. But starting now, I was the author. Chapter 2. The Neighboring Room. The resort was luxurious, but old, walls thinner than they looked, and room 208, the one her affair partner was staying in, was directly adjacent to ours. It wasn't hard to find out. All I had to do was call the concierge, pretend I wanted to surprise my wife's friend, and ask for the room number. They told me without hesitation. "Mr. Miles, he's in 208. Shall I connect you?" I declined with a smile. Instead, I walked to the gift shop, bought a pack of stick-on coat hooks, and returned to our room. I quietly placed my phone, set to record audio, against the shared wall, mounted at chest height. Then I went for a long walk. The recording 3 hours later, I returned. Janet was in the shower. I picked up my phone, slipped into the hallway, and pressed play. Her voice, soft, breathless, laughing. "He has no clue. You could probably walk in here right now and he'd think you're room service." Then the man's voice, "You sure we're safe? The walls are thin." "So what? He's clueless. He believes anything I say. I've been telling him I feel bloated for the last 3 days. He bought it." They giggled like teenagers. Then came the line that made my stomach lurch. "After this trip, I'm going to fake a positive test. He'll never question it. And when the baby's born, I'll tell him it's a miracle. Maybe then he'll finally feel like a man." The setup begins. I didn't confront her that night. Instead, I copied the audio file to 2 different USB drives, backed it up to cloud storage, and started documenting. The next morning, I went to the hotel's front desk and asked for a printed record of our room charges for reimbursement. It listed room 207. Then I asked for a copy of room 208's charges, said I had mistakenly charged dinner there. The receptionist paused, then printed it. It showed identical dates, identical meals, identical charges. 2 rooms, 1 plan. Now I had proof they were coordinating their lies. The call that changed everything. Back in my room, I sent a single encrypted message to a contact I hadn't spoken to in months. "Scott, I need your help. You still do private surveillance?" Scott was an ex-cop turned investigator. 2 hours later, we were on a video call. I showed him the messages, the audio, the receipts. "How fast can you get someone here?" I asked. "With what you've got, I'll fly in myself." "Good," I said, "because this isn't just about cheating." "What's it about then?" I looked him dead in the eye. "This is about someone trying to trap me with a child and using me to raise another man's legacy." Scott didn't blink. "Let's ruin them." Chapter 3. The Wire. Scott arrived in Aruba 2 days later. He came as a vacationing cousin and booked a suite on the same floor. We didn't need high-tech gadgets. All we needed was the truth, captured in her own words. I bought her a new gift, a diamond tennis bracelet. She lit up when I gave it to her. "Oh my God, are you serious?" "Of course," I smiled. "You deserve to feel special this week." What she didn't know? The clasp contained a hidden listening device, courtesy of Scott's former narcotics division. Every whisper, giggle, lie, now recorded in crystal clarity. Days of data. We collected everything, the way she snuck out each night between 2 and 4 a.m., the code she used to knock on his door, 2 soft taps, 1 hard, conversations about how they would milk me dry in the divorce and make it look amicable. She joked about keeping the house and asking for child support. He laughed and said, "We'll call him Junior, but we'll know the truth." And yet, every night she came back to my bed, feigning exhaustion and cramps, lying, breathing beside me, pretending to love a man she was slowly poisoning. The final piece. Scott and I made a move on day 9. We waited until they were in his room again. Then Scott called the front desk, using an altered voice. We heard a violent domestic fight coming from room 208, loud banging. A woman crying. Security arrived within minutes. Scott stood nearby with a GoPro subtly clipped to his shirt. They opened the door and found them mid-act, naked, tangled, startled. Janet screamed. Mateo, the affair partner, tried to argue. "This is a misunderstanding. She's my cousin." Security wasn't buying it, nor were the hotel managers, because guess what? Scott had already handed them the audio files from the past 5 days. They were disgusted, and they promised something better than an apology. Documentation, signed statements, hotel reports, video footage, all bundled and emailed to me. The departure. That evening, I didn't say a word. I let her get dressed, let her eat dinner beside me, let her pretend. Then, as we sat on the beach beneath the stars, I kissed her forehead and said, "Janet, when we land tomorrow, your life is going to fall apart in ways you can't yet imagine." She blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" I stood up and walked away. And for the first time all week, I felt free. Chapter 4. The Unraveling. We landed at 10:07 p.m. Customs was slow. The air in the terminal stale. Janet kept checking her phone, trying to hide her impatience. "I can't wait to sleep in our bed again," she said, looping her arm through mine. I murmured, my eyes locked ahead. She didn't know that while we were in the air, 2 packages had already been delivered. 1 to her job, addressed to Human Resources. 1 to our home, addressed to me, but marked urgent legal inside both. A copy of the hotel's incident report, signed by security. Screenshots of the text messages. A summary of the audio surveillance. And a notarized letter from my divorce attorney. The morning after, she awoke to the smell of fresh coffee and her suitcase, already packed and waiting by the front door. "What's going on?" she asked, voice groggy. I stood in the kitchen, perfectly calm. "Your new life begins today. I suggest you answer your work email first." Her brows knit. She walked to the living room, opened her laptop. I watched her face go pale in real time. She clicked through email after email. From HR, "Your employment is suspended pending internal review." From legal, "We've received documentation indicating violation of contract and fraud." From her affair partner, "Delete everything. They have us on tape. I'm disappearing. Don't contact me again." She dropped to the floor, hands shaking. "What did you do?" I sipped my coffee. I gave the truth a microphone. The divorce papers. She tried to cry, begged for a second chance, but I slid the folder across the table. This includes everything. The house goes to me. You walk away with nothing. No alimony, no child, because there won't be one. She blinked. How do you know about the... I cut her off. Because I saw the messages. I heard the plans. And guess what? I left more than just a tracker in your luggage. Her jaw dropped. You bugged me? I protected myself, and I made sure the courts would see you for exactly what you are. The fallout. Within a week, her job, gone. Her affair partner, vanished. Her reputation, publicly scorched. Her pregnancy lie, obliterated. I filed with medical confirmation and proof of contraception manipulation. She tried to sue for defamation. She lost. She tried to cry on social media. No one believed her, because I never raised my voice. I never posted screenshots. I let her hang herself with her own rope and simply handed the world the knot. Chapter 5. The lesson she'll never forget. 3 months later, she was living in her sister's spare bedroom. Jobless. Bank account frozen from pending investigations. Reputation in tatters. And every time someone Googled her name, the words fraud, infidelity, and terminated with cause appeared in bold letters. She tried calling me again, first with anger. You ruined my life. Then with desperation. Please, just talk to me. I'm sorry. And finally with silence, just missed calls that stacked up like ghosts. I never answered. The final encounter. I ran into her by accident at the grocery store. She looked older, tired. Makeup couldn't hide the fatigue in her face. She stared at me like I wasn't real. You look happy, she said, barely above a whisper. I am. She nodded, biting her lip, eyes filling. I messed everything up. You tried to destroy me, I replied, calm as ice. You used me, lied to me, planned to trap me in a lie and raise another man's child in my home. I didn't mean... You meant every word, I said, and you just didn't think I'd ever mean mine. She stood frozen, tears slipping down. I stepped closer and leaned in, just enough for only her to hear. You were never the storm, Janet, just the warning. Then I turned and walked away. The lesson. You can't teach loyalty to the disloyal. You can't love someone out of betrayal, but you can outthink them. You can be the quiet force they never saw coming. Because revenge isn't rage, it's patience wrapped in silence, sharpened by every lie they ever told. And when they finally realize you were 10 steps ahead, that's the closure. Not the tears, not the apology, just the silence as they watch you rise. Ever been betrayed so deeply it made you someone else? Then you know, silence is louder than revenge. But revenge done right echoes forever. If this story hit you hard, show your support. Like the video, comment with your thoughts, share it with someone who needs to see this, and subscribe to Lauren's Story, where truth cuts deep and justice always finds its voice. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp, stay silent, stay strong.